You're looking at an ant performing a surgery to save another ant's life. That is the remarkable finding of a new study in the journal Current Biology. It all started when a graduate student at the University of Würzburg saw an ant biting another ant's leg off. They were at first puzzled, but when the researchers looked more closely at what was happening, they saw the reason for the bizarre behavior. The patient ant's leg was badly wounded, and if not amputated, could cause a deadly infection. The ants could even figure out which leg injuries could be treated with surgery and which could not. Surgery is just the latest example of behavior that we once thought was exclusive to human beings. And the more we learn about animals, even the lowly ant, the more we realize they have the same feelings, capabilities, and even medical practices that we have.
All right, Shalom. This is your brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yashar Allah, and a sincere salutation to all Yuakim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwat, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. This is Job chapter 12 and verse 7, and it reads, "But ask now the beast, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee." All right, now I want to go into a lesson through the Spirit, on the beauty of creation. The Lord is the first author of beauty through the Spirit, and this is a perfect example of knowledge increasing and really just revealing the mastery, of the Maker. All right, so let's go here to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 13 and verse 1. And it reads, "Surely vain are all men by nature, who are ignorant of Yahweh Shema Shai, and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster." All right, and this is why a great judgment is going to come upon the earth. All right, because when words cannot teach, as Apostle Gabar says often, adversity will. The mercy of the Lord has been granted. It's been given, but people take for granted the mercy of the Lord. And then when you look at creation, people don't recognize the beauty of the Lord. They don't behold it as the beauty of the Lord, as the intelligence of the Lord. They believe Esau's narrative that everything evolved out of nothing, out of thin air. And this detail, just this small detail of what the ants are doing amongst themselves proves, in grand scheme that there's intelligence behind everything. And this is why the beauty of Yahweh Shema Shai is only revealed unto the elect. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. All right. Because ultimately, 2/3 of our people in the rest of the world have been deceived. In Revelation, the 20th chapter, when it said that Satan shall be loosed a little season to deceive the nations, it didn't say he would try. All right. And a part of how he deceived the nations is to sow doubt of the existence of the Heavenly Father. And that's why they can see things like ants operating on each other and not even regarding the fact that the Lord is behind these things. And when you look at the scriptures, why would the scriptures say this in Proverbs, the 6th chapter? All right, which shows you that this is the word of the Lord, whether you can receive it or not. All right, this is Proverbs chapter 6. I'm going to jump down. Let's see. I believe it's Proverbs 6. Yep. So it's Proverbs 6 and 6, and it reads, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise." Now, when you go into the cross references, it says the ant. All right. And it says the ant has been famous in all ages for its social habits, foresight, economy, and industry. Collecting their food at the proper seasons, they bite off the ends of the grain to prevent it from germinating and lay it up in cells till needed. Now, is that an evolved or learned behavior? No, it's divine. All right. This is why the scriptures tell us to consider them. All right. Again, going back to Proverbs 6 and 6, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise." All right. Because the Lord has placed intelligence in life itself, with the highest form of intelligence being man, if you will, on earth concerning intelligent life on the planet. But everything has a source of intelligence. It has a certain measure of intelligence. And all of that goes back to Wisdom of Solomon in the 13th chapter. All right. Let me go back to it before I get 1 Corinthians 2. Wisdom of Solomon 13:1. Surely vain are all men by nature, who are ignorant of Yahweh Shai, and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is. Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster, but deemed either fire or wind, or the swift air, or the circle of the stars, or the violent water, or the lights of heaven, to be the gods which govern the world, with whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods. Let them know how much better the Lord of them is, for the first author of beauty hath created them. Like, that video is a perfect example of how they're supposed to end that, giving glory to Yahweh Shai Shai. Because the Lord is the one that placed the intelligent life on earth. All right. Everything comes from the Lord. All right. Matter of fact, let's go here. Because when we see things like that through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, we give glory to the Lord. It just reminds of how much greater the Lord is that made all these things that we get to witness. You look at the beauty of nature, how nature is efficient. That comes from a source. It's not just efficient, but it's beautiful. It's aesthetically pleasing. You think about the different seasons and how beautiful those different seasons are. But they're not considering these things. And this is why the judgment of the Lord has to come, because they don't consider the grace and the mercy of the Lord. All right. Now, this is Job 34:14. And it reads, if he set his heart upon man, if he gather unto himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh shall perish together, and man shall turn again unto dust. All right, which shows you that all life comes from Yahweh Shai, which is something we know, but it's small details like this of animals, moving intelligently that remind us through the spirit of how much greater Yahweh Shai is, man. All right, this gives us great pleasure. I like looking at animals and, the little things that the Lord's done in nature. Because it gives me appreciation and reverence, for Yahweh Shai, because the Lord is truly far out, man. This is only one of his many works. And when you look at it, the more you go into the detail, the more you find out. It's like never ending. All right, let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon 13. Now continue at verse 4. But if they were astonished at their power and virtue, let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them. Now here's the point. For by the greatness and beauty of the creatures, proportionably, the maker of them is seen. Because you think an ant in the grand scheme of things is very small, right? But then when you really look at the details, how they interact socially, how they're in order, how as that little excerpt on the ants spoke of, they gather their food in proper season. They did a study where they dug out a anthill and they found ventilation. They found all kind of different things that are very intricate, but the Lord simplified it by just saying, look, go to the ant, ye sluggard. Job 12, consider the beast. They will teach you. And the Lord is so far out, man, that the more you zoom in, because the ants were probably operating like this. The ants were operating like this before it was discovered. Not even probably. The ants were already moving the way they were moving. And it's just man is catching up to what the Lord is already doing. Like electricity. They didn't create electricity. They discovered it, which means it was always around. It just wasn't harnessed yet. Allegedly, But it shows that Esau doesn't create anything. He discovers what the Lord has already done. And this is why the scriptures talk about him in Psalms the 14th chapter by saying this. Psalms 14:1, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. Because these people are the ones that are bringing out the fact that ants are performing surgeries on each other. How far out is that, man? But then when they look at that, they just think it's a natural occurrence of evolution. Like a one-cell organism somehow mutated into all these creatures. And then the ants learn how to perform surgery through Darwinism and natural selection. It don't work like that, man. It takes more faith to believe in that than the opposite. that everything has a source of intelligence, and that source of intelligence is Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And when you look at creation in itself, it's too in order, it's too perfected. And this is how we understand through the Spirit that the Lord made the heavens, that the gods of the nations are idols, you know, because not only did the Lord show us creation, but the Lord left us prophecy, which is another powerful form it's a powerful display of the Lord's power to be able to say before. And we're living in a beautiful time of prophecy. But it's little things like this, little details like this that remind us through the Spirit of just how great Yahweh Shem Yahushai is, man. All right, matter of fact, let me get this. I paraphrased it. This is Psalms 96 and 4. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. And when you look at all of these so-called religious books, the scriptures are the only ones that show you reality. You can see reality in the scriptures. All right. What's going on in our reality, in our time, can go back to the scriptures. You can't get that same thing from the Kebra Negash, the Book of the Dead, which shows you there's a connection to the scriptures and the world we see, which shows you it was divinely inspired by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You know, even people not being able to believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushai is a testament to his power. You know, the scriptures say the Lord had blinded the eyes of his own people, but how much more so the nations? The Lord said, only you have I known of all the families of the earth. And this is why every other nation can see something like that and say, you know what? It's not the God of the Bible. It's Darwinism, or it's Vishnu, you know, or it's whatever the Hindu gods are. But it ain't the God of the Bible, because it's not meant for them to see it that way. All right. It's meant for the Israelites to see that first and foremost, and then give glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 17 and 9. All right. You know, I'll start at 8. He set his eye upon their hearts, that he might show them the greatness of his works. He gave them to glory in his marvelous acts forever, that they might declare his works with understanding. And see, we're able to do that. Even though we don't dive into oceanography, you know, we tap into certain things, but we didn't dedicate our life to learning about the oceans or dedicate our life to learning about zebras. You know, as the servants of the Lord, willing we be a part of that number, we're able to take that information and draw it back to its source, which is Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So we're able to glory in the Lord's marvelous acts. Because when I saw that, it immediately made me think about scriptures. You know, it immediately made me, you know, hey, call Allah Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You see certain things that the Lord do. It's like when you watch LeBron, you know, play basketball, it's like, man, you know, he make a certain move. And it's like, dang, that's cold. You see certain things the Lord do in the earth, and it's like, man, just something as simple as that, because the ants were doing this before Esau found out. He's just catching up. And it's beautiful, man, when you look at it. When you look at creation in its whole, in the details, all of it it's the intelligence of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And then the scriptures top it off by saying how much greater he is that made him. So if we think this, what we see is fire, is dope, is amazing, man, the Lord far exceeds this, man. The Lord ain't maxed out when he made creation. He made it for his pleasure. Matter of fact, I believe that's in Revelation. Yep, Con. There's Revelation chapter 4 and 11. Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created. Man, and the Lord's worthy of glory and honor, man. When you look at the world, like it's a, you know, when you understand through the Spirit, whatever, according to our measure, you know, you just look at creation, it's like you become amazed at Yahweh Shem Yahushai and the things that he's done and that he's doing. You know, it's like a pure, like, reverence for, just like the close thing I compare it to is when you see a great boxer, you see a great basketball player, and you just see how they move, and you know that only that guy can do that kind of style of playing basketball or boxing. It's like when you look at creation, it just brings you to that moment of awe, you know? And to think that the Lord did all of this for his own pleasure. You know, whenever you do something for your pleasure, you don't break a sweat doing it, you know, which shows you how much mightier the Lord is. Man, it's cold, man, when you look at it through the spirit, you know, and it was just a small clip that I saw and I was like, man, the Lord he cold, he raw, man. Perfection without effort. In detail. The closer you look, the more advanced it get. And that's cold. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 12. And I'm going to jump down to 17. All right, and it reads, for when men will not believe that thou art of a full power, thou showest thy strength. And among them that know it, thou makest their boldness manifest. But thou, mastering thy power, judgest with equity, and orderest us with great favor, for thou mayest use power when thou wilt. And I always think about this in verse 18 when it says, mastering thy power. You know, the Lord, the Lord don't have a limit to his power. You know, so he's mastered unlimited power. And it's, you know, that's beyond comprehension. But it's beautiful when you look at it because we get a glimpse of it when we look at creation. You know, everything Esau discovers, you know, we get to filter it through the scriptures and it gives us a greater comfort, you know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. Matter of fact, let's go here. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 8 and 20. And it reads, O Lord, thou that dwellest in everlastingness, which beholdest from above things in the heaven and in the air, whose throne is inestimable, whose glory may not be comprehended, before whom the host of angels stand with trembling, whose service is conversant in wind and fire, whose word is true and sayings constant, whose commandment is strong and ordinance fearful, whose look drieth up the depths, and indignation maketh the mountains to melt away, which the truth witnesseth. You know, because now that power, you know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to be used, you know, as the scriptures say, when men will not believe that thou art of a full power, it's going to be used for the Lord to show strength through judgment. You know, and when you think about that, it's a very terrifying concept of the Lord. Matter of fact, let's go here. It's Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 11. And it reads, the lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. So the same power that's been maintaining the world, that created the world, greater works than these ahead, is going to be set on destroying people to bow down the proud. And you think about all the judgments that are happening in the earth today, it's not making people turn from their way, which shows you how much more extreme the judgment is going to have to get in these last days. All right. And that's why through the spirit, you know, we understand the times that we're in. Lord willing, we endure unto the end. You know, but I just wanted to go into a lesson through the spirit on this because it's beautiful when you look at it. And again, you know, I wanted to share this because I caught it. You know, the Lord is amazing, man. You know, call Allah Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rokah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yashar Allah, and a sincere salutation to all Yuakim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.